Hello and welcome to We Mean Business. With President Obama being re-elected to power, the debate over his anti-outsourcing stance and its impact on India has been reignited, more so after scathing comments from Professor Bhagwati of Columbia University on how the US president was dealing with the issue. So is Obama's second term going to be any different from an outsourcing point of view? And what really is the Indian IT industry expecting? Joining me to debate that is an expert panel of guests. Ameet Nivsarkar, VP Global Trade and Development at NASSCOM, joins us from New Delhi. Also joining us from New Delhi is Vishnu R Dusad, the MD and CEO of Nucleus Software. In our Mumbai studios, we have Pradeep Udhas, partner of KPMG. And joining in on the link from Mumbai is also Keshav Murugesh, the CEO of WNS. But before we begin our discussion, in fact, let's listen in to Professor Jagdish Bhagwati and some of his comments when he spoke to my colleague Shweta Rajpal Kohli earlier this week.
Professor Bhagwati, also Indo-US relations. Should India necessarily be celebrating Obama's victory, given the kind of backlash we've seen against outsourcing?
He really was a disaster for India. I mean, he carries a little Ganesh or something.
Yes,
but anybody could. I mean, you have to have some figure there. It means nothing, actually.
Right.
I mean, it could be anything.
He doesn't feel for India the way we think he does in terms of.
No, far from it. Actually, President Obama, from the beginning, from coming in, he's always been talking about outsourcing. And what does outsourcing mean? It's a code word for India.
Sure.
What else, really? And he keeps doing it.
But do you see that as mere election rhetoric, or do you think that has serious ramifications?
He's been doing it from the time he first came in.
Right.
Entire 4 years. So and he did that also during the election, and so did the other Democrats like Charlie Schumer, Barbara Boxer, Nancy Pelosi, even my senator from New York, who's a very sensible woman. In the last 3 weeks, she was also talking about outsourcing. And so
But it goes beyond political posturing, is what you're saying. And do you think the Indian authorities are not doing enough to make a point that they clearly don't like it? I
think what we ought to do, and this is my suggestion, I mean, I say we are into the Hindi Amriki bye-bye phase.
Right.
Just like we were with Hindi Chini bye-bye. But that doesn't mean you should have your eyes closed. I think the time has come now to tell Obama, this is really the wrong thing to do. It really spoils the ethos, creates anti-Indian sentiment. Like, why did that crazy neo-Nazi guy go after the Sikhs? They think, outsourcing means Indians are taking away jobs from them. Then they see Indians coming into the United States, like these poor Sikhs in the temple. They say, they're taking our jobs away right here. That then creates a sense of agitation, the dot busters, all sorts of things, you know.
And it's President Barack Obama who's also reinforcing and feeding it.
He's feeding it all the time.
Right. And is that something that will become?
We are so darshan oriented, and you know he calls up Prime Minister and he melts, right? So he's playing games with us. I think we should now simply say, I mean, there's no option except to be friendly with the Americans. I mean, we are natural allies.
But at the same time,
but now we've got to say, look, this is bad, and if you continue doing it, we are going to retaliate in our own way.
Right, and we don't seem to be sending across that message.
We don't, because anytime he wants something, we give it to him.
Right.
And I mean, I have theories as to why. So this is something we ought to tell him. He's got to stop.
Okay, very strong words there, but let's throw it open to our panel with that. I want to come to Mr. Vishnu Dusad first. Sir, do you agree with what Mr. Bhagwati said, that Obama is probably the worst president for India purely from an outsourcing point of view, that he's playing games with India?
No, as far as Professor Bhagwati's comments in terms of what do we need to do with the US, or for that matter the rest of the world is concerned, I couldn't agree more with him. We do need to be very, very clear in our minds as to what do we want, and we need to get our message across to whomsoever he may be it President Obama or whomsoever. So I do agree with Professor Bhagwati that yes, he has not been very friendly, or rather he has not been friendly at all with India. His speech at the parliament, of course, was heartwarming, but when it comes to real policies, he's trying to squeeze us, and that's what we need to stop.
Do you agree, Mr. Pankaj?
Messages across.
Mr. Pradeep Udhas, do you agree with that? I mean, is it like Mr. Bhagwati says, or like Mr. Dusad has said, time for India to send a clear message to Obama that they don't approve of his outsourcing policies or his protectionist policies?
Yes, I do agree with my friend Vishnu and also Professor Bhagwati, because it's been now 4 years and the same rhetoric has continued, despite having where Indian industry has made a case as how it actually helps the U.S. economy. When President Obama was in India, I presented a paper to him which we had written along with USIBC. We talked about the lessons that US can learn from India and India from US, and we discussed that how this talent actually can help the US, and it was well appreciated. But when it comes to the local politics, somehow it goes there, and I think I agree with Professor Bhagwati that our Prime Minister should be firm. And business, friendship is friendship, business is business, and we should really negotiate hard on this issue.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app, fully optimized for Retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.